Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for more exciting stories. Today, I've got a tantalizing tale for you. Meet Neoma, a beautiful young woman with the curves that could stop traffic. But Neoma's assets aren't just physical. She's got a heart of gold and a spirit that's hard to resist. And she's got a secret. She loves men. But will her love life be a source of joy or a recipe for disaster? Tune in to find out. Neoma was a young Nigerian lady with a voluptuous figure, particularly her curvy hips and bum. Her big ass was always the center of attention, and she loved the way men couldn't help but stare. She flaunted her curves with confidence, often wearing tight-fitting clothes that accentuated her assets. Growing up, Neoma was always the belle of the ball. Her beauty and figure made her popular among her peers, and she reveled in the attention. She loved being desired and enjoyed the thrill of being chased by men. As she entered adulthood, Neoma's love for men only intensified. She began to explore her desires, sleeping with different men and never getting too attached or emotional. She saw it as a way to have fun and live life to the fullest. But as the years went by, Neoma's lifestyle began to take a toll on her reputation. People started to gossip and label her as promiscuous. Despite this, Neoma continued her ways, believing that she was living her truth. One day, Neoma met a man named Chinedu. He was tall, dark, and handsome, with a charming smile and piercing eyes. He was different from the others, and Neoma found herself drawn to him in ways she couldn't explain. Chinedu was a successful businessman, and he swept Neoma off her feet with his wealth and charm. He took her on exotic vacations, bought her expensive gifts, and showered her with attention. Neoma was smitten, and for the first time in her life, she felt like she was in love. But as their relationship progressed, Neoma's past began to haunt her. Chinedu's family didn't approve of her reputation, and they pressured him to leave her. Neoma tried to change, to be the woman Chinedu deserved, but it was too late. Chinedu broke her heart, and Neoma was left to pick up the pieces. She realized that her big ass and beauty weren't enough to keep a man. She needed to change, to become more than just a pretty face and a curvy figure. Neoma took a break from men and focused on herself. She started reading books, learning new skills, and spending time with friends and family. She discovered a new passion for photography and started taking classes. As she grew as a person, Neoma's perspective on life changed. She no longer saw her big ass and beauty as her only assets. She realized that she had so much more to offer. But old habits die hard. Neoma soon found herself back in the dating scene, jumping from one man to another. She thought she was having fun, but deep down, she was searching for something more. One day, Neoma met a man named Emeka. He was kind, gentle, and genuinely interested in getting to know her. Neoma was hesitant at first, but Emeka's persistence wore her down. They started dating, and Neoma found herself falling for Emeka. He loved her for who she was, big ass and all. He encouraged her to pursue her passions and supported her in everything she did. Neoma thought she had finally found the one. But as their relationship progressed, she realized that Emeka wasn't ready for marriage. He wanted to focus on his career, and Neoma was left feeling frustrated and alone. She broke up with Emeka and continued her search for true love. But as the years went by, Neoma began to realize that her reputation was making it hard for her to find a decent man. Men would either want her for her body or be intimidated by her past. Neoma started to feel like she would never find love. She was tired of being single, tired of being judged, and tired of being alone. She wanted to settle down, have children, and grow old with someone. But as she looked in the mirror, Neoma couldn't help but wonder if her big ass and beauty were a curse. Were they the reason she couldn't find true love? Neoma's 30th birthday was approaching, and she was feeling anxious. She had achieved success in her career, but her love life was still lacking. She wanted to settle down, but it seemed like the right man was nowhere to be found. She started to attend church more regularly, hoping to find a good Christian man. But even in church, Neoma struggled to connect with men. They would either be intimidated by her beauty or judge her for her past. One day, Neoma's pastor asked to speak with her after service. He told her that he had been praying for her, and God had revealed to him that Neoma's struggles were due to her own actions. She needed to change her ways and become a better woman if she wanted to find true love. Neoma was taken aback. She knew she had made mistakes, but she didn't think she was entirely to blame. Still, she decided to take the pastor's words to heart and start making changes. She started dressing more modestly, stopped going to clubs, and focused on building her relationship with God. But even as she changed, Neoma couldn't help but feel like she was running out of time. All her friends were getting married and having children. She felt like she was being left behind. Just when Neoma thought things couldn't get worse, she received a message from an old flame. He wanted to meet up and catch up, but Neoma knew it was a bad idea. Neoma tried to ignore the message, but she couldn't shake off the feeling that she was missing out. She had thought she was over him, but the message brought back old feelings. She decided to meet up with him, telling herself it was just harmless catching up. But as soon as she saw him, Neoma knew she was in trouble. He looked even more handsome than before, and she felt her resolve weakening. They talked for hours, laughing and reminiscing about old times. Neoma felt like she was 20 again, carefree and in love. But as the night wore on, she realized she was making a mistake. She excused herself and left, feeling guilty and ashamed. She knew she had to focus on her goals and stop getting distracted by old flames. Neoma threw herself into her work and her faith, determined to move on. But as the months went by, she couldn't shake off the feeling that she was meant to be with someone. She started attending singles events and joined online dating platforms, hoping to meet someone special. But every date ended in disappointment, and Neoma felt like she was running out of hope. One day, she received a message from a man who seemed different. He was kind, genuine, and shared her values. Neoma was hesitant at first, but as they talked, she felt a connection she hadn't felt in a long time. Neoma and the man, whose name was Obiora, talked for hours every day. They shared their hopes, dreams, and fears with each other, and Neoma felt like she had found a true connection. Obiora was different from the other men she had met. He was kind, gentle, and genuinely interested in getting to know her. He didn't care about her past or her reputation. All he cared about was who she was as a person. As they talked, Neoma found herself falling for Obiora. She felt like she could be herself around him, without fear of judgment or rejection. But just as things were starting to look up, Neoma's past came back to haunt her. Obiora's family found out about her reputation, and they were not happy. They pressured